Hello, fellow board gamers. My name is Marcel. You know me as your Herr der Spiele in English. That would be Lord of the Board Games. And I am happy to say hello again to my friend Scott Rumptz. Hi, Scott. How are you doing?
Hey, how are you, bud?
Yeah, I'm fine here. Winter is leaving Germany. I think spring is coming, and this is where my mood gets better and better.
Yeah, same over here.
Yeah.
It's we've been blessed with some nice days here recently.
Awesome. So let's hope the weather stays nice. So we all know Scott from his awesome projects around Nexus, the Arena Combat System. If you do follow my channel a bit, then you know there are several videos online. Nexus, the Arena Combat System. Can you, Scott, tell us in 3 to 5 sentences what Nexus is all about?
So it is a arena combat game, like you were saying. It's a dice chucker. It's total Ameritrash, very theme driven. I call it a sandbox board game because you have a lot of different components that you can put in and take out depending on what kind of experience you want to have with it. But the highlight is the arena is just trying to kill everybody
Ah,
involved.
perfectly
Yeah.
said. And all of that is just about fun. Having great fun with your friends. Sweet spot definitely for players. This is what I experienced. And there was always one thing about Nexus what I was missing. And this was some kind of gaining experience, growing your gladiators, getting better, having a story, and then you came up with the Legacy campaign, which you
Yep.
did run last year. Do you have
Yes.
any news about that? And probably anybody there around doesn't know about the Legacy campaign, so give up some news, please, upon the Legacy campaign book.
So the legacy campaign book is the part that adds persistence, like what you were talking about. Instead of just being a one-off game, Nexus now has a persistence similar to like a Blood Bowl team manager. You're going to have your trope of helots. You're going to be able to mutate them. You're going to be able to give them cybernetic implants, buy them armor, weapons, different things like that. And it's a lot of fun. It's kind of an RPG light experience. So we got all funded last year, and in fact, I actually have this is the production sample box that was sent to me by Longpack, and it's hefty. So when we did the campaign, originally we were just going to do the book. Well, it turned into a big box full of stuff here. Uh, we've got the GM screen, which is nice. So in
Wow.
Nexus, we call it a pit boss, right? So this has all of the different information on it for creating and modifying your helots, all the nitty gritty information about their skills and everything's just referenced on this really cool. It's a nice, thick, high quality screen, so you don't have to always dig into the book. Which, as you know from the board game, I try and do everything I can to keep people from having to dig into the rule manual.
Yeah,
Um,
but in the board game you have this awesome QR codes where you can use your smartphone to have it explained, and even I did not see that. I call it GM screen, and it's
mhm.
it's like a GM screen. I was an RPG player, always was the game leader, the one who
Yeah,
who led the game, and this looks awesome. I did not see it up to now. The quality
thank you.
looks awesome, and
Yeah.
Nexus can be played with some kind of GM. I remember.
Yep.
So
Yep.
this will be my tool, I see.
Yeah. We call it a pit boss.
Yeah, I'm the pit boss, of course.
Now, for those of you who don't have a dedicated pit boss, right? Like, let's say you and three of your buddies, the four of you want to play, nobody wants to sit it out and be the pit boss. Well, we've also put this narrative campaign in the box
Wow.
as well. So you guys can read along with this. It's self-generate, or it's a narrative written by myself, and where I'm the pit boss, and you guys can kind of read through it and follow through, almost like a Nexus quest. It takes place on a show called the D versus Next Top Lannister, where you'll be
Okay.
you'll be competing to be the next great Lannister in the Dverse. But that's a lot of fun. We put that in as a stretch goal. The other thing that we did for this campaign is we just got some character pads printed up. So you've got like nice full color character pads
Wow.
for you as a Lannister, as the manager, and then also we've got character pads for your helots, right?
Wow.
So you're, like I said, you're going to have multiple helots, so we've got character pads for them. We put all that in a box too. Now, what we were originally setting out to do was just to make this book,
That
which was the
book,
legacy,
yeah.
which was the legacy book. But as it surpassed my expectations for how it would do, I started. I do stretch goals very weird. I see how the project does. I talk to the backers. I say, hey, what do we want? These are some ideas that I have that I don't think are going to hold up production, but it'll still be nice, add-ins to the box. And that was all the stuff that we came up with, which was the
Can you
GM
please
screen.
show the book again, the book?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So, and now, of course, there are people who followed the campaign, and everybody who did not follow, just guess now how that cost. How much did that cost? Not you, Scott, but what do you think, my audience, was the pledge level? It was
It's
$40 US. It was just $40, and everybody knows that you will not even get a book for $40 US of that size. And then we have the pads, the sheets, we have the campaign book, we have the GM screen. In Germany, that would be around 80 euros. That means more than double the cost. So this was really, really great. Scott, awesome to see that. I can't wait to unbox my parcel when it arrives. Do you have any suggestions when that will be delivered throughout the world?
So manufacturing is going to be completed on the 10th of March. It would have been done a little bit before that, but they had used a white threading to bind the book, which the interior of the book and the layout was all very dark, and I had requested that they used a black one. They made that mistake. I went to the backers and I said, hey, this is what they did. Can you live with it? And about 40% of the backers said that they didn't care for it and they'd rather wait for it to be fixed with the black threading. So that was enough for me to go, you know what, that's way too many people that aren't going to be happy with this. So I had them rebind all the books essentially. So we went from I was hoping to have it this month to the manufacturing is going to be finished on the 10th. So I'd say, you give it maybe a month to get off the boat, and then we'll start for fulfillment. I would guess in April is when everybody should start receiving their copies. Now, I am going to have some flown, obviously not pallets because that would be ridiculous, but just a couple cartons of books flown into the U.S. We have a gaming convention here called Adepticon. And there's a few backers that are going to be in attendance at Adepticon, and I'll probably give them their copies there. So, yeah.
That's a nice idea. Awesome. Yeah. So Germany will wait until April, or let's say May, and then we will be happy, and the rest of Europe, of course. And what I have to say is that, and I myself am part of it, you build a community around Nexus. We have that legacy book now coming, a very important thing. To me, it's the most important thing, because this is, I talked with another friend of mine, with Rick, about this is very important to me, is a storyline where we can follow and evolvement. But of course, we have to have a core stock. And there we have your core box. A lot of us have it already. We played it for hours and for weeks, where we have 4 heroes, 4 gladiators, we have different Lannisters. But if you play Nexus more often, then you want to have more of it. And I will include a link to your homepage. We already have the possibility to get more of these zealots. But now let's talk about your upcoming project, because this is very important, and this is something where I was really waiting for over a year now. What can we expect for the upcoming week?
So we're going to launch what is called the unsanctioned expansion. So the box, the original base version of Nexus that we put out, wasn't everything that we had done and completed over the years. Like you were saying, there's been a lot more stuff that's been available in resin or as STL files that you can download on my Mini Factory, which all of our hobbyist fans download, paint up, and kick test and play. But pre-painted has always been what I envision Nexus to be. I'm a father. I know you're a father. When you have a family, sometimes you just don't have time to sit down and paint your miniatures before you play. Sometimes you want an experience where you can just play with your toys and not have to worry about breaking them. So pre-painted has always been what Nexus is all about. So in this expansion, we're taking all this additional content, which is the Barge Beast, the Creature Pit, 4 new Helots, the Dart Columns, and the Toxic Waste Barrels. They're all going to come pre-painted, just like that original base box, and they're going to have all of your, cards, the AI decks, the status tokens, the tiles, all of that, all done in the box, so you can kick up the chaos in your Nexus arena battles.
Okay, do you have something you can show us if you want to share your screen, or I don't know if you have a preview page on some.
So I do.
Yeah,
I do. Let me pull that up here.
Okay, this is the draft page now that we see, and just show us the draft page. This is what I wanted to see.
Yeah. So this is, you're all getting a little sneak peek of what's going to be hitting Kickstarter on Tuesday. So this is the unsanctioned expansion. You can see here, this is special for the people that have come seen us at conventions. That's Targ the Carver.
Wow.
Yeah.
He looks awesome. Yeah.
He is a giant resin statue that we bring to convention, or a giant bronze statue that we bring to conventions with us. So here we have what I like to call the money shot of all the components in the game.
Wow.
Everything's going to be pre-painted. Try and let people know that this is an expansion and they're going to need the base game. Mm-hmm. But here's a big fan of the game that called it one of his top 3 games of last year.
Guilty. I am guilty. Yeah, definitely. It was one of my most played games the last year also. That's
amazing. I'm so happy to hear that. I've got a little video that I put together here for people who are new to the game. I highly recommend, if you don't know anything about Nexus, to take a minute to watch this. I explain the origins of the game. I give you a highlight of the rules and different things like that. And then I kind of walk through Jay and mine's story, because it is kind of a neat one. We started working on this game when we were in middle school. Mm-hmm. So this game's 35 years in the making. But yeah, here's where we talk about what's new. Wow. So this is the Barge Beast and the Creature Pit. These are AI monsters that will be in the arena indiscriminately trying to kill everybody involved while you're trying to kill each other. We're going to have a mutation deck in there with a mutated status. So your fighters are actually going to change their abilities within the bouts. You may grow a tail or a third arm or something like that while you're facing your opponents. These are the 4 new Helot motivations in the box, which is the People's Champion, the Sadist, the Bloodthirster, and the Criticure. These are going to be full-size, mega-size miniatures, just like the ones that you got now.
Yeah.
Then we've got the new hazards, which are the Toxic Waste Barrels and the Dart Columns.
Oh, I love them.
Here's a nice little 360 of Targ. So that's what the paint job on Targ is going to look like.
Awesome.
And then this is, your typical what's included in the box. We go over all the different card decks and things. I put together some nice animated GIFs so you can really get an idea of what the models are going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get 4 of the dart columns and 4 of the toxic waste barrels. The toxic waste barrels are going to be correlated with that mutation deck, like we were talking about. There's the creature pits AI deck, and the barge beasts AI deck as well. And then all the status markers and new tiles and things like that. Kind of walk through the creature pit and talk about some of the stats for those of you who have played the original game and understand what all this stuff means. And the same thing with the barge beast, just like a quick overview of how the barge beast is going to play and interact within the arena. And then it goes into all the different reward tiers, right? So we've got just the expansion for those who are who already have everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to have a board game bundle for people who are just getting into the game. They didn't get the original version yet. We got everything all bundled up for you with a really nice discount. Yeah. And then there's going to be the role play bundle. So that would be for somebody like you, where you are just getting into the game and you also want to get that legacy edition so you can do a little role play.
Yeah.
And again, all of these are all pre-painted out of the box. This frame is magnetic in the game.
Yeah.
For people that don't know. And then we've got our bougie all-in bundle. This has that plastic board in it. It's got the aluminum coins instead of the plastic ones.
Wow.
And we have a copy of the Nexus novel, which is a great read for those of you who enjoy books.
Wow.
Then we'll have add-ons, different things like that. I'm going to have stretch goals once we get to a certain amount of funding.
Yeah.
But I want people to understand that this is a complete game. I'm not putting this up there with the intention of putting a bunch of other things in the box and creating fake hype. This game is complete, and once
I can guarantee for that. I tried it out.
Yeah, and once we hit these stretch goals, then I'll start talking to the community, and we'll start figuring out what kind of extra fun stuff we want to put into this.
I think this is the nice timing so that I can shortly interrupt. Yeah. So as a fan, and as a friend, longtime friend, of course, too, but I can assure the community that Scott, that you really listen to the community. So definitely there are publishers and so on that just do their thing, but of course, you are not the biggest company. Yeah, you are a person living for this board game, and I was following you and the Nexus campaigns for years. Since the first one you tried, I always came back, and you always listened to us, and this is what makes you and this project special. So thank you for that, of course.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And
I'm a backer too. I do the same thing. I think I've got 145 projects that I've backed on Kickstarter. So I understand, what it's like to be on the other side of this and what I would want. And that's what I try and do.
And I saw so many interesting things. So just step back to what's included.
Okay.
We have to give credit to the barge beast and to the creature pit, because this is what makes this expansion special. Of course, it doubles the content, the content of Helots, of the gladiators, but these two were experiences nobody ever seen before, because now we don't only fight against each other and we throw us into pits and spike traps and so on, and there are these razor sharp blades running around the floor, but they have an AI deck like Kingdom Death Monster have, and they work against everybody. So this transports the game on a whole new level, and I can't wait to see that. And of course, I have to repeat that they are all pre-painted, and then we can step to the price, to the tiers, please.
Sure.
Yeah. Everybody of us knows how much work is it to paint. Of course, painting is fun, but the pre-paint job is really, really nicely done, I think. And I was looking at the bundle for 250 euros, and this is such a great price. If you see The Legacy campaign book is still the whole box, $40. This is really, really cheap. And if you then see it's $105 a box in total, this is an awesome price for a game with so many replayability value and long time motivation with all that high quality material. I think it's awesome. It's a great price.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's that's basically the page for all of the new stuff, and then I go through and I kind of walk people who are new to the project through like what makes Nexus different. I talk about the combat system a little bit. I put some reviews from Board Game Geek. We've been fortunate enough to get some real love on Board Game Geek from people who have played the game. So that's always the most nervous thing, right? Is you get your game out there into the world, and now you go to Board Game Geek and you're at their mercy, and you got to wait and see what everyone thinks of it once they get it home and break open the box. And people have really enjoyed it and been very happy with the game. So I put some of the quotes from there that stood out to me. And then your typical how to play section. I got the rule book here for the original game that people can look at. We've got a learn to play video that was done for the game earlier this year, which is really thorough and nice. I've got a link to the knowledge base, which has basically everything you could want to know about the game. It's got the whole rule book. It's got all the videos of me explaining things. It's completely searchable. So if you're needing to look up a clarification about floor saws, you can just type in floor saws and it'll take you to all the content that involves floor saws in the game.
And I have to give you a lot of credits for this one, because when I was reading the rule books, I was using the QR codes. Then you told me, just try the knowledge base system. And this is really awesome. I do not know a single game. I think Infinity, the board game from Corvus Belli, they do a similar thing, but they are, of course, huge. And this one works much better because, as you said, I don't know how you worked on that, but really you can include one of the keywords and then you jump right to the explanation, and you always see videos like you explaining that. I am really, really fascinated by what you did there, and this is so helpful, and I would advise everybody to look at that page. If you have any questions, this page will solve it.
Yep. And then, just a typical kind of learn about Nexus. I talk about the game. I point out some things that may not be immediately obvious, like the frame being magnetic. I talk about the QR codes in the rule book that people can use, and show people, the pre-painted quality. So this is right out of the box. I took pictures of everything. This is what it looks like coming out of the box.
Yeah.
Got a little unboxing video that I did myself during the original campaign to kind of show everybody the storage system and how that works. Got a Quackalope playthrough here, which, they got the rules wrong, but hey, it's, whatever. And then I talk about the Legacy Edition, show everything that's in that Legacy Edition box, talk a little bit about that, have a little flip through the book so people can, see what's in it. I did an interview with a guy, and I put that in the campaign in case they want to hear the two of us babbling about the Legacy a little bit.
Yeah.
And then this is the history of Jay and I. Just a little short, couple paragraph version of our story. Like I said, we grew up in Detroit together. This is all the stuff that really heavily influenced us growing up. Yeah. And this at this age created this when we were older. And we're gamers. This is a complete passion project made for other gamers. We make sure that there's a lot there. We've got all the Euro, safe shipping, all that kind of stuff. You'll have your shipping prices on here. I do stand by my shipping estimates. So Very similar to what they do on GameFound. If any of my estimates change by more than 5% by the time you're filling out your pledge manager, you are totally free to cancel your pledge and get your money back.
Wow.
I'm not going to try and take advantage of anybody with shipping. That said, anything can happen, right? Like 2020. You never know when something big may happen in the world that may affect things. So I can't completely guarantee it, but I'll do the best I can to keep things reasonable. Talk about the timeline a little bit, like what to expect once the campaign ends and when you get all your pledges. And then this is basically my little disclaimer about media. I do not pay for media reviews any longer. Any kind of attention that I get or anything that you see is because somebody reached out to me. So, for example, even this, it's amazing to me that you're taking the time to reach out and talk about the game. And I just want people to know that when that happens, it's sincere. I'm not sending you any money or anything like that.
Yeah. Okay. Wow, this was a lot, Scott. Awesome new box incoming. Great. Of course, I was following you very closely and every of your updates. So, of course, I knew a lot of that. And I think we can just sum it up now. So we did see all those new stuff. And, of course, the stuff we already have is awesome. And we were talking a lot about the knowledge base and the miniatures. Probably we'll talk about that in a few minutes too. But let me say one thing. This is not only a Ameritrash. Of course, we are throwing dice. But my experience is that you can use tactics. Yeah, you do upgrade yourself during these turning point events. You get stronger and better, and then it all depends on when do you use your special abilities. This is really important, and I will soon do a playthrough. It's in German, of course, yeah, but I will then show people how that works too. And talking about miniatures again, and the Eerie command panel. We did not talk about the Eerie command. I think you showed it a few minutes ago. Do you have one ready to show?
Absolutely. So this is the command panel. You'll see the magnets there where it sticks together, and then you're going to see them on the end where it'll stick together like this, and it'll make a frame around the board if you have a table like that. But if you have a long table, you can just pull it away and set them wherever they need to be. And this is going to track everything for your helots. It's going to hold their health in these coin slots. All the health is represented by those coins. It's going to track your turning points. It's also going to track all of your traits as they increase during the fight. This line right here is going to hold all the different status cards and things like that, so everybody can see whether or not your helot's bleeding or on fire and different things like that. That way everything's really tactile, and in that base board game, you don't need pen and paper to track everything. It keeps the flow of the game going. And it's almost like sitting around a craps table, right? Like you're grabbing coins and passing them back and forth. It's a lot of fun.
It definitely feels great, and the quality, the material of everything of that is really nice. And we were talking about miniatures. Of course, I have all these miniatures here, but the Barge Beast and the Creature Pit, I don't know if you have some of them too.
I do.
Yeah.
So great. just to give you an idea, I know it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell by looking at the page.
Yeah. Definitely.
But these miniatures are very big.
Whoa.
These are not tiny miniatures. Yeah. They're a good size. And when you talk about something like the Creature Pit, this is a big boy that sits in the middle of the arena.
Oh my God,
and then you've got
the Barge Beast, please.
The Barge Beast.
Wow,
which the Barge Beast
awesome.
Is just a big, massive wrecking ball that's going to be stomping around the arena and laying waste to everything.
Wow.
And even these columns are very cool. They're very nice size. Visually striking, the game has amazing table presence.
Yeah. This is one of my most important things, because I would not play board games when I did not want an awesome table presents. This is what lacks kind of, I like these GMT games, the coin series or so on, but it's just those little chits, and you don't see them. If you take them in your hand, you are searching in your hands for the chits, and you will never search for anything in your game, and it just looks incredible. And if you get the total package, if you just combine it, the gameplay, the storyline, which we will now have thanks to the Legacy campaign, the development of your characters, so this will be an awesome experience. Scott, you can't imagine how happy I was when I first saw Nexus, and of course, in the beginning, I was disappointed and sad when it got cancelled. And then I think it was 2022 when it finally got released. That was so great. And I am so happy to be part of your community, watching that growing and coming to life. And if I am one of your ambassadors here in Europe or Germany, I am happy to show this, what you done there, to the audience. I'm so happy, really.
I can't thank you enough. I mean, you have since the beginning, like you said, even at times when we thought we were done, you and fans like you would reach out and say, hey, you know, we're still waiting on this.
Yeah.
Like, don't give up.
Yeah.
And it got us through some really tough times. I mean, as you know, the first couple Kickstarter campaigns, we were very green. We did a lot of things wrong. And we definitely made it harder on ourselves than we needed to get the game out there. But now that it is, to see everybody enjoying it and playing it, and to be able to expand it like this, and keep expanding it in the future, right? This is just the tip of the iceberg. This is all the stuff that we had done 7 years ago. So you can imagine all the stuff that is going to be coming in the future for this.
Awesome. You will launch next week. When will you launch?
So Tuesday. March 5th at it's going to be 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'm not sure how that translates everywhere else, but 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on March 5th.
Eastern Standard Time. I will just translate that in Europe time, and I will include that in my video.
Sounds great.
Yeah. Thanks, Scott. Thanks so much for your time to show that all to me. If anybody around is following us now who is speaking German better than English, I will have a full rundown of everything we talked about in I try 15 minutes, it's always hard for me, a video where I sum it up, where I get you prepared and informed about everything that is coming. So, I keep my fingers crossed for you, but I am pretty sure there is no need for that, because this is awesome. It's an awesome experience. Thank you again, Scott, and have a nice day.
Thank you. You do as well.